Now, earlier this week, I did a video on, I guess you could say like a recap video on Dynamite. And I'm actually going to try and do the same thing about SmackDown because enough happened on SmackDown that it would be more beneficial to me to allow us to focus on that as opposed to fitting it into the news videos and just not giving it the proper, I don't want to say spotlight, but trying to fit it in instead of spacing it out. So we got 3 videos to get to today, at least, and we're going to see how things go from there. Starting with GCW block, I guess GCW having an issue with AEW Fight Forever and AEW trying to trademark the video game, the name of their upcoming video game title, because AEW held a Fight Forever event in January 2022. I believe it was AEW that then GCW held a 24-hour zero fan event back in 2021. Or no, was it 2021 or 2022? I think it was 2022. I think it was 2022 that they held the event, and then AEW tried to trademark Fight Forever in March, but GCW blocked the trademark or contested the trademark in July, and now we are back again with GCW continuing to block the trademark for the purpose of either first use clause, meaning GCW used the name first, so then they should have the ability to trademark the event or the name and not have to, like AEW, like basically it should be GCW that has the opportunity to trademark it first, and if they choose to not trademark it, then AEW should have the opportunity to trademark it. But if GCW chooses to trademark it, then AEW is shit out of luck. Odds are, from what I'm understanding, that won't happen, and AEW and GCW will likely come to some sort of an agreement. But it seems like that will not happen for at least a couple of months, as GCW got their continuation or another opportunity to make a case or figure things out, come to an agreement with AEW. Maybe the agreement has something to do with if GCW wants to use the event name again, that they would be an exception to the trademark, and that AEW would be able to reuse the trademark if they so choose. I mean, GCW would be able to use the trademark if they so choose. Because the fact of the matter is, odds are, GCW and AEW would probably be using the trademark for the same thing. So, the reality of the situation is, GCW would need permission from AEW if they wanted to use the trademark again. It couldn't just be that they used the trademark because they had first use. They would need permission from the owners of the trademark to be able to use it. I don't know everything about trademark law or as much as other people do, but the fact of the matter is, GCW and AEW are in a position where it's a iffy situation, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why WWE benefits from the idea of always just having WWE in the title of the game. Yes, in the past they had other names in the title of the game. Like Know Your Role or SmackDown Just Bring It or Here Comes the Pain. Other specific WWE-esque titles. But that's the thing, WWE always had the WWE titles. WWE catchphrases in the event, in the games, not, wrestling specific titles. But, right now we've only gotten to one news story, so let's move on, as this is something that we will probably talk about over the next couple of weeks. As another bit of AEW news, as El Hijo del Vikingo was supposed to be the one that made his debut in the Face of the Revolution ladder match in San Francisco, but he was already booked for AAA and was unable to make his debut at the event. But Commander actually made his debut instead. El Hijo del Vikingo is already also... He's already 25 years old and is already one of the biggest stars down in AAA. So it's not like it would be a coup for AEW to get another major star up on the main roster or up with them in AEW because of who he is. But also, I believe, off the top of my head, he is the AAA Mega Champion, I want to say. He is the AAA Mega Champion and is one of the top stars down in AAA. But it is not uncharacteristic for AAA and AEW to share talent. It is not uncharacteristic for a AAA talent to come up. It is interesting, though, and I do wonder when AEW made the choice to bring in Commander as opposed to knowing that they would not be able to get El Hijo del Vikingo. Now we shift over to WWE, as WWE has been looking to legalize betting for professional wrestling, specifically on some major matches. I don't know if it would be every pay-per-view. I don't know if it would be all matches on pay-per-views. I don't know if it would just be the main event matches. I don't know if it would have to be matches involving specific talent. I don't think, and the reality is, I don't think anybody knows at this point that specific area, but also the amount of limitations it would place on who could know, who can't know, who would know. The fact that talent would likely not be able to know until the day of the event what's going on, or, creative would not be able to know, and they would have to, WWE would have to shrink the circle of creative, preventing certain people from knowing, and, they would have to, pencil in everything months in advance and not be able to change it if they so choose, which would limit them as far as, being able to do things like what they did with Sami Zayn. Like if somebody like Sami Zayn organically got over and they wanted to change the pay-per-view outlook and give him a, spectacular victory or a bit major win, they would not be able to change plans if it was not initially put in the plans to push him. Then in which case it could lead to WWE going back to how things were, where if they tell us they're going to push this person, then we got to accept the fact that they're going to push this person. The backstage reaction on this situation is that a lot of people are surprised that WWE are even considering this, based on how much of a clusterfuck it would likely be, and the effect that it would have on the talent and the company as a whole. And, a lot of people don't think that this, because of the clusterfuck it would be, that this is going to go really anywhere, to be honest. But I guess this is also something much like the AEW GCW trademark issues, that it is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on as time progresses, because it's not like this, WWE attempting to legalize betting in specific states is something that is going to happen tomorrow. Now we end on an interesting bit of news, as Dax Harwood, on his podcast with Mark Kuhn, basically said that he wanted, that there was talk and that people wanted Britt Baker or Serena Deeb to join the Pinnacle. Now, the Pinnacle consisted of FTR, Shawn Spears, Max, and Wardlow, and their main feud was with the Inner Circle, as it was, I think, the first Blood and Guts that these two teams fought, I think. And the article goes on to mention the fact that there was no female presence in the Pinnacle. It would have helped having a female presence in the Pinnacle, I think, only because it would have helped further develop a fledgling division at the time. I don't think Britt Baker needed to be in the Pinnacle. I think Serena Deeb would have benefited from being in the Pinnacle, but I think it would have helped the fledgling division at the time get a little bit more direction and get a little bit more stability with people that weren't named Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa. So I think it would have helped, but I also think that, like I believe Dax has said more than once, that because of how things went with the Pinnacle was destined to fail from the very beginning. I just thought it was an interesting bit of information. As Dax, again, talked about interesting stuff, continues to talk about interesting stuff on his podcast. But we got other things to get to today, and I will end it there as we got another news video coming.